kids and really watch these movies like Trick or Treat or these 80s horror movies, and really watch them with them, and they would have realized how innocent these movies really are, and how it's basically a lot of them are morality tales of good versus evil. Hello, fellow followers, and welcome back to FanZcene. And today I have for you, do you like heavy metal? Do you like Halloween? Do you like 80s horror? Well, if you said yes to all three of these things, or at least one of them, do I have a video and a topic that just might be perfect for you, or interesting at least to you in any way, shape, or form. Since it's April right now, the filming of this video, April, sort of halfway to Halloween, I sort of wanted to get in on this a little bit and talk about the 1986 movie Trick or Treat, directed by actor Charles Martin Smith in his directorial debut. And some of you guys may know this actor, Charles Martin Smith, as Toad from American Graffiti, directed by George Lucas, or as, the government contractor guy that's hunting down Jeff Bridges in one of my favorite John Carpenter films, Starman. So this was his directorial debut, and it was a great directorial debut, to be honest. And if you don't know what the 1986 movie Trick or Treat is all about, well, here you go.
It's party time!
Rock and roll will never die. At least not this Halloween.
You've heard of raising spirits from the dead by incantations, right?
Yes.
I did that by playing the record backwards.
You're the bait, and bait is you.
Sammy Kerr. He's a rock and roll nightmare.
I am a big fan of yours. I've got all your records. Shut up!
This message is meant for me.
Sammy Kerr. His fans won't let him die. He won't let them live.
You should be loyal to your hero. Make it turn on you. Shut it off! Shut it off!
Trick or treat. Looks like we better check out the party punch.
Such a good 80s horror flick. I love this movie. It was a great film. So this movie is essentially about a young man named Eddie who goes by Ragman, who's a huge heavy metal fan. His favorite all time is Sammy Kerr, who is pretty much the villain, the monster of the movie, the slasher as it were. And this kid, Eddie Ragman, he basically gets bullied at school for being different, for liking heavy metal. People think he's a little weird. And so, he has that going for him. And then Sammy Kerr, dies in a fire, and it changes his whole world. And and he gets this, acetate record of Sammy Kerr's final, album from Gene Simmons, who's playing a radio disc jockey here in this, which is pretty cool. And so, but the acetate basically contains the soul of Sammy Kerr, and once you play it backwards, back in the day, all that, Paul is dead, all that stuff. As Sammy Kerr actually starts to help Eddie get revenge on his bullies, and this is sort of in the guise of Sammy is helping him. He's using his affection and his fame on Eddie as a way to exact revenge, but in reality he's just using him to kill and do horrible things. And this movie itself came out around the time of the Satanic Panic in the 80s, and I'm going to be honest with you, I can kind of see where parents and people were coming from back in the day in the 80s, about the worry and all this about that. I can see it, but honestly, I think if they would have really sat down with their teenagers and their kids and really watched these movies like Trick or Treat or these 80s horror movies, and really watched them with them, and they would have realized how innocent these movies really are, and how it's basically a lot of them are morality tales of good versus evil. And yeah, maybe they have some sex and drugs and boobs and slashing, murdering of victims, but it's all done in a way where it's where the main character, where the final boy or the final girl sort of have these arc of like finding out who they are, standing up and overcoming adversity, being strong and defeating this villain. And, it's what happens in Trick or Treat, Eddie, which is very rare that you get a actual final guy in a movie. It's usually a final girl. He stands up to Sammy Curry and he realizes, what's going on. And even like to his bullies, he tries to help save his bullies because he's actually a really good person. And I don't think people realize, a lot of times, you can be different and you can sort of have like a difference of each other and kind of butt heads, but at the end of the day you're still people and you can still get along, but most of the time the bullies bite it in anyways. Which is understandable because high school in America can be very difficult, and that's what it also played on in these movies. But I just thought these movies were great, these 80s horror movies, and Trick or Treat was good. I just think that these movies were a lot more creative and more innocent than a lot of people thought at the time. And I think over the years that has been proven, that a lot of people, realized that they weren't as bad as they thought, and, they gave them a chance and they found their audiences, and, it didn't corrupt people like they thought it was going to corrupt. But at the same time, like I said, I can understand why people got in that facet in the world, because times in the world can be crazy. But one of the things I really liked in Trick or Treat was that, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it, is that Eddie, the character of Eddie, once he finally stands up to Sammy Kerr and realizes what's going on and everything, he gives him this speech to try, to goad him to come after him about how the fans are why he exists. He's a fan, and what is going to happen if all these fans stop buying your records and stop supporting you. You're just going to fade into obscurity. And I think a lot of what's wrong with today's stuff is that it's a lot of fan blaming. And it's also, this movie is also a good thing of hero worship, not to worship these people, these celebrities and musicians and stuff, don't hero worship them, because they're not always who you think they are, and they're not always the best people or the best judge of character, the best person to rely on or to look up to. Which is interesting considering it's a movie, a Hollywood movie and everything. But I think in some way they got that back in the day, and whereas they don't really get that today. And I think fans really should, need to stand up a little bit more and not let their hero worship define them, or how do I want to say this? Not let them be blamed for stuff that the creatives are not doing well in today's age. But anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. I just wanted to say I really loved 80s horror. This was a great one. It's halfway to Halloween. I really wanted to talk about this, and I know this movie's been talked about a lot here on YouTube. This would probably fall into, a void maybe, and maybe not get watched as a lot, but that's okay. But I just want to talk about it, and I just, I think these movies, like Trick or Treat or 80s horror and stuff, are actually decent and have a decent morality tale. And if you really look at them, the stories that they were coming with, the characters were characters, there was story. Maybe there was some messaging back in the day, but not like there is today. It was subtle, and me personally, I don't need anything to line up with what I believe in or what I think. If you give me a good story, a good character, and don't try to shove certain things down my throat, and just let me enjoy and make up my own mind, that I consider that good entertainment. But, today's day and age it's a different time. And I think maybe if we go back and look at some of these movies, maybe we can find our way back creatively. I don't know, or at least independently start making your own stuff that you want to see, which is what I'm trying to do here. I made a couple documentaries myself on stuff, but that's just my 2 cents. I didn't mean to go into a whole little thing there myself, but let me know what you guys thought about this video in the comment section down below, what you thought about Trick or Treat. What are some of your favorite 80s horror films? And, if you liked it, give this video a like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. I would truly appreciate that if it earns your subscription. Share the video out for everybody to see. wherever you guys are, please have a great, safe, happy, healthy day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Thank you guys for watching. Godspeed, and rock on.